Shalom, shalom, giving all praises unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Raha, Hodash. Honors be to the elect elders of the nation of Israel that do labor and teach the truth with all truth and in sincerity. Shalom to you, Akim, you hopeful elect on the highway and hedges, making your body a living sacrifice, according to Romans 12 and verse 1. Shalom to you, sincere believers, which consist of men and women. Shalom, Brakatham, and Abba Ball. This is your brother Zakar Alban coming back with another video. Alright, this will be going into the history of, the jury and gold, which represents, us as a people. Alright, which represents pretty much a status and wealth and honor, as I'm going to get into in this article that I found. Okay, this little history page. So it says, did the ancient Israelites wear jewelry? Here's what history tells us. Did the ancient Israelites wear jewelry is a question that goes beyond mere fashion. It touches on faith, culture, and the way people connected with their beliefs in ancient times. Surprisingly, we do have quite a bit of evidence about this. Between the pages of the Bible and what's been uncovered through archaeology, we have a clear picture that jewelry was indeed part of Israelite culture. In fact, the jewelry they were often carried deep symbolic and religious significance. So let's break it down. What kind of jewelry did the Israelites wear? How do we know this, and what can we learn about their values and beliefs from these ancient accessories? The Bible, a historical reference to Israelite jewelry. The Bible, especially the Old Testament, often clear reference to jewelry worn by the Israelites. For example, when Abraham's servant found Rebekah to become Isaac's wife, he gifted her with a gold nose ring and bracelets. In Genesis 24 and verse 22. The nose ring wasn't just a pretty item, it was a sign of wealth and honor. Okay, so I'm gonna read a little bit more. I want to, there's a particular point I want to hit. It says, similarly, jewelry is mentioned as part of bridal customs and other biblical texts, underscoring its value and engagement in marriage rituals. When the Israelites escaped from Egypt, they brought with them gold and silver. Jewelry that they later used in the construction of the tabernacle. The famous story of the golden calf, Exodus 32, reveals that they melted down their earrings and other jewelry to create the idol. This suggests that many Israelites, including men, wore earrings and other gold pieces. It implies that jewelry was more than decorative. It was connected to wealth, status, and even worship. Okay, so that was the point. I said it was connected to wealth, status, and even worship. All right, so I'm going to deal with that word for status. All right, ultimately, it says that to what status, because when you look at it, right, it could be twofold. There's a double meaning. So yes, we wore gold and in jewelry, but also we are the Most High, Yahweh Shai, jewelry as well. He says, "What I will make up my jewels," in the book of Malachi 3 and verse 17 that I'll grab in just a second. All right, and we also liken unto what? His treasure. Okay, matter of fact, let's grab the word for. Let's go to the treasure. Let's go to. Bear with me 1 second. Let's get Psalms 135 and verse 4. Okay, because we are the treasure of the Most High and His jewels. It says Psalms 135 verse 4, and it reads, "For the Yahweh have chosen Jacob unto Himself, and Israel for His peculiar treasure." Let's read that in NLT. "For the Yahweh had chosen Jacob for Himself, Israel for His own special treasure." All right, and that will be, the nation of Israel starting off with the elect. Right, the nation of Israel starting off with the elect. So once again, it said it was connected to wealth, status, and even worship. So let's get that word for status. Let's see what that word status goes into. It says status, just on the regular Google dictionary, the relative social, professional, or understanding of someone or something. High rank or social standing. High rank or social standing. Once again, we are the jewels of the Most High. Okay, and the Most High says what? in the book of Deuteronomy 7 and verse 6, we'll be what above all people. So it says higher rank or social standing, those who enjoy wealth and status. So let's skip down. Let's skip down. Let's go to that word for status. It goes to what Latin stare, to stand, standing, right? It says what? To stand. And who will be standing at the end? What kingdom will be standing? Okay, so this jewels or the Most High represents what? So let's prove about that word for jewels. Okay, let's go to the book of Malachi, chapter 3, start verse 16. Because once again, you know, this is on one side of it, yes, gold and jewelry are our customs, but also we are the jewels and the of the Most High as well. Okay, the Most High said that what? I make a man more precious than gold. Okay, so matter of fact, let's grab Isaiah 13 and 12. This is the book of Isaiah 13 and verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. All right, so once again, this likened unto us to what? Unto gold. Malachi 3 and verse 16, but 17 is the point. It says, on the book of remembrance. So Malachi 3 and verse 16, then they that feared the Yahweh spoke often one to another, and Yahweh hearkened and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Yahweh and that thought upon his name. All right, it's pretty much the Bible, the book. Then those who feared the Yahweh spoke with each other, and the Yahweh listened to what they said. In his presence a scroll of remembrance was written to record the names of those who feared him and always thought about the honor of his name. And they shall be mine, said the Yahweh of hosts, in the day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them as a man spared his own son that served him. All right, and they shall be mine, said the Yahweh of hosts, in the day when I make up my jewels. So once again, we are likened unto what those those gold and the jewelry. All right, we the jewels of the Most High. And they shall be mine, said the Yahweh of hosts, in the day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them as a man spares his own son that served him. So when I brought out the that historical article speaking about the ancient customs of Israel, wearing jewelry, it represents what? Wealth, status, and honor. And within that word for status, it went into what? Stand. So we are so ultimately the kingdom of Israel will be the last one standing. All right, that's the only kingdom that the Most High is dealing with. Okay, no other people. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 2. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 2, and verse 44. All right, because once again, that word for status, it went to what? Stand. So this is the book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the outer one Yahweh of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. And it shall stand forever. Speaking about who? The house of David. All right. And the rest of the Israelites, man. The house of David, the 144,000 and 1/3. Okay. During the reigns of those kings, the power of heaven will set up a kingdom that would never be destroyed or conquered. It will crush all these kingdoms into nothingness, and it will stand forever. And it will stand forever. Speaking about, once again, the nation of Israel. All right, starting off with who? The elect. Okay, it's going to reign forever and ever. All right, never again will the kingdom of Israel be scattered. Okay, so the Most High said He's going to make up His jewels. All right, so let's go back to that history. skip right back down to the point. And it says it applies that jewelry was more than decorative. It was connected to wealth, status, and even worship. To status, and we got that word for status, which goes to what? Stand. And once again, say wealth, status, and even worship. And that word for status, when you skip down, goes to stare, to stand. And the only kingdom that will be standing will be the nation of Israel, the house of David, started with the elect. During the reigns of those kings, the power of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed or conquered. It will crush all these kingdoms into nothingness, and it will stand forever. All right, and that will be spearheaded by who? Yahweh Shai. Okay, when Yahweh gives the go-ahead. All right, having no many crowns on his head, the takedown of Esau, Edom. All right, and the allies. Gonna be pretty much what be put down. Okay. It says wealth and status. So let's grab one more. Let's go to the book of Exodus 19. Salakia. Exodus 19 and verse 5. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. It's reading NLT. Now, if you will obey me and keep my covenant, you will be my own special treasure. And who is doing that now? All right. Who is trying to keep the covenants of the Most High? Who is trying to do the will of the Most High? The elect, the ones that follow the Lamb wheresoever he goeth. Okay. Remember 1 second. Let's read it again. Now, if you will obey me and keep my covenant, you will be my own special treasure from among all the people on the earth, for all the earth belongs to me. All right. So once again, these jewels, the treasure of the Most High, will ultimately, stand. Will ultimately be what? Above all people. Once again, when you go to the history of the jury and the customs, all right, it represents what? Wealth, status, and honor. Okay, and that status. All right. So the Jews of the Most High will be the only ones that will be, standing at the end. Let's go to that word for Revelation chapter 14. Let's go to Revelation chapter 14 and verse 12. Okay, because the only ones that is trying to obey Yahweh Hawashai, all right, is ultimately the elect. The ones that was already preordained to stand firm in the ministry and in the faith. Revelation 14 and verse 12 in the KJV. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Adonai Yahweh and the faith of Yahweh Shai. This means that Adonai Yahweh's holy people, holy goes to what's separate, must endure persecution, patiently obeying his commands. He said, endure persecution, patiently obeying his commands, and maintaining their faith in Yahweh Shai. All right, maintaining, being steadfast, being firm. Okay, waiting for the coming of Yahweh Shai. Verse 13. And I heard a voice from heaven. Let's see. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Right, blessed are the dead which die in the outer one from henceforth. Yea, said the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. 13. And I heard a voice from heaven saying, Write this down. Right? Write this down. Blessed are those who die in the outer one from now on. Right? Speaking about what? The book. All right, the Bible. All right, this is ultimately how we understand, of what's going to transpire, or what's going to happen. Okay, the Most High ultimately, gave a certain few to have the ability to see, have the ability to understand what's going on. The eye salve. You can open up the book, the Bible, all you want, but ultimately, you don't understand the mysteries, the dark sayings. And I heard a voice from heaven saying, Write this down. Blessed are those who die in the outer one from now on. Yes, says the Spirit, they are blessed indeed, for they will rest from their hard work, for their good deeds follow them. Speaking about the elect, okay, that may be, in the spiritual realm, right? That's what that's what that's speaking about. Okay, that their works still follow them. All right, so that's pretty much the point. I just want to go to a few a little bit of the history, all right, about the ancient custom of the jewels, the jury, of how we liken it to what the jury, the gold, okay, it goes into what wealth, status, and honor. So I'm in it there. I'm giving all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Raha, Hodash. Honors be to the elect elders of the nation of Israel that do labor to teach the truth, our truth and the sincerity. Shalom to you, Akim, your hopeful elect on the highway and hedges, making your body living sacrifice. Shalom, Brakatham, and a Baba Ball. On to the next.